Hello YouTube, Atlas back again with another Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links video. Today I'm talking about Blackwings. In case you haven't been keeping up with the news, we've been getting a couple clues, which is leading a lot of people to believe that the next main box will be focused around Crow's Blackwing archetype. Now, I want to be clear, this is not a leak video or anything. I don't know anything more than anyone else. I'm just looking at some of the staple Blackwing cards in the TCG and trying to figure out what Blackwings we might be able to expect in the next box. First of all, if you're not familiar with how Blackwings works, it's kind of like a swarm synchro archetype. So think about like how for hires work, but not as obnoxious. So most Blackwings have an effect where if you have a Blackwing on the field, you can special summon one from the hand. From here on, I'm just going to be referring to that as the swarm effect because a lot of the Blackwings have that built in. First up, Bora the Spear. Bora is like an absolute staple in the deck. So you want to run at least 2 of these just because it's nice to have the consistency of being able to swarm the field. Besides the swarming effect, he does piercing damage. Not really a big deal. There is a neat combo that you can do with that we can talk about later on. I would expect Bora to be like a rare in the box. Next up, Chris the Crack of Dawn. This is like the brother card to Bora. It's really similar, but it's got one difference. He's still got the swarm effect, which is great. He has slightly better stats than Bora. But instead of piercing damage, Chris can avoid being destroyed by spell and trap effects once per turn. Like Bora, he has the swarming effect, so you want to run a couple of them. And we're going to need these guys if we want the deck to work at all. Next, Matin the Dust. He's got a bit of a weird effect. The closest thing I can think of to compare him to is Copy Plant. The difference though is instead of copying another monster's level and making that his own, he adds that level to his own. So for example, Matin is level 2, so if he targets a level 3, then Matin becomes level 5. He's really good for level 6 and 7 synchros, and sometimes he can pull off an 8, so he's good to have in the deck. He's not entirely necessary, but he's a good Blackwing, and he has a swarm effect too. Alright, Hiroshi the Squall. Hiroshi is a level 1 tuner. He's really basic, and he's not really the best tuner that Blackwings have, but he's one of the ones I could see us getting, especially if Armed Wing is in the box, because he pairs really well with Blackwing Armed Wing. When Hiroshi is used as synchro material, he allows you to change the position of a monster on the field. So if you use him as synchro material with a level 4 and go into a level 5 like Armed Wing, you get to change the battle position of a monster on the field, and then, once that monster's changed, you'll usually have Armed Wing on the field, which deals piercing damage, so you can set up for some decent damage like that. Alright, Blackwing, Blizzard the Far North. This is one of the better tuners. Blizzard is the tuner that is tied to Crow's quote-unquote signer skill. If you use his skill, you get 2 Blizzard added to the deck, which is very useless right now because we have some Blackwings, but they're terrible. All of them are terrible. Blizz can't be normal summoned, but he allows you to special summon a level 4 or lower Blackwing from your graveyard in defense position. It makes Blizzard a level 6 synchro just off his normal summon. Besides that, you're not going to be bringing that Blackwing monster back for any other real reason. The reason I'm sure that this will be in the box is because Leo and Trudge both got their tuners, which are tied to their signer skills, very recently. So it would be really weird if we got a bunch of Blackwings and we didn't get Blizzard, because it's setting a weird precedent. And of course, I do think that Konami wants us to buy Blackwings. I'm sure that they're going to try and push Blackwings hard, and Blizzard is a fantastic tuner for the archetype, so we kinda need Blizzard. Next up, Pinakey the Waxing Moon. This is a great card to have because not only are almost all the level 3 Blackwing tuners are fantastic, but Pinakey has great utility as well. If he's in your graveyard during the end phase, you can search your deck for any other Blackwing except for Pinakey. It's important to note that it's not just a battle searcher. Since it's like a graveyard check, Pinakey will still activate this even if he was used as synchro material or tribute fodder or anything else. I think we're more likely to get Pinakey than something like Gale the Whirlwind, because Pinakey is a very, very consistently good tuner to have. So is Gale, but Gale was limited to 1 at one point in the TCG, so I think maybe they'll be a bit more wary about giving us Gale than they would with something like Pinakey. Next up, Vayu, the Emblem of Honor. This is a weird Blackwing card. I don't think I've seen another card with an effect anything like this in the TCG. He is a level 1 tuner, but he cannot be used as synchro material while face up on the field. So what do you do with him? Well, if he's in the graveyard, you can banish him and another Blackwing from your graveyard to synchro summon a monster from the extra deck with the corresponding level. So it's still treated as a synchro summon. Since Vayu is a level 1, if you have a level 6, then you can go for a level 7. But those materials are banished from your graveyard. I don't think Vayu would be used very much. It's kind of like a late game swing card, sort of. Or you could build a cheesy deck around, dumping Vayu in the grave early or whatever. But it'll be more of a meme deck thing, if anything. He's not going to be played at 3 or anything. Vayu is not that kind of Blackwing card. Here we go. Gale the Whirlwind, the single best main deck Blackwing. He's a level 3 tuner that swarms, and his effect makes him into what is basically a targeting mirror wall. He can target a monster and decrease their attack by half. And it's their current attack, it's not their original attack. So I'm sure it's once per turn, but I might be wrong. You might be able to cheese it to get Gale out, use his effect, use him for a synchro, powerful rebirth. I don't think you can do that, but I might be wrong. Like I said, Gale was limited to 1, so if any card's going to be left out of Blackwings, it's gonna be Gale. Well, there's another, but Gale is very powerful for the deck because, like I said, he can target an enemy's monster and decrease their attack by half. And then he can be used to synchro summon a bigger Blackwing monster, which can then attack that weak monster. And doing that, he can deal a lot of damage. Here's something interesting for you. Gale the Whirlwind can take out Stardust Dragon by himself. And he doesn't even have that much attack points, it's just his effect is so good and so versatile that no matter how many copies of Gale we have access to in Blackwings, everybody will want to play Gale at 3 or at max if they can. Because he's just that good for Blackwings. If Konami really wants Blackwings to be the first good synchro deck in Duel Links, they will put Gale in the game, but I would not be surprised if he was a box UR. One of those cards like Full Helm Knight that you want to have 3 of just to get the deck to work. Blackwings might be expensive. I'm just saying that now. Next, Blackwing Sirocco the Dawn. He is also fantastic, but for a different reason. Sirocco might be a level 5, but he has an effect similar to Cyber Dragon. If your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can normal summon it. Blackwing Elfin the Raven is also similar to this, but Sirocco is just a much better alternative than Elfin the Raven. Sirocco's effect works a lot like Union Attack, the spell card that everyone uses for farming, except he can channel all your Blackwing monsters' attack points into another Blackwing, I think it has to be a Blackwing. You might be able to do it with other monsters, but that monster is the only one that can attack that turn. But compared to Union Attack, any monster targeted by Sirocco will still deal battle damage. So you can actually stack all your Blackwing's attacks onto a piercing monster like Armed Wing or Bora the Spear, and attack a defense position monster with a huge amount of attack points. To put this in context, if you have Sirocco the Dawn on the field, and you have Bora on the field, and that's all, 2 monsters, you use Sirocco's effect, Bora becomes 3700 attack and deals piercing damage. That's pretty powerful. Okay, on to the synchros. BlackWinged Dragon. Blackwing will almost definitely be the cover card for the box, but he's really not that great at all. It can counter burn, kind of, in a conditional way, but if Blackwings need to go into a level 8 synchro, they have Stardust Dragon. Like, they're not restricted to going into Stardust, and Stardust is just better in every way, especially for Blackwings, since BlackWinged Dragon doesn't actually provide any meaningful advantages to be played in a Blackwing deck. It just doesn't. Alright, Blackwing Armed Wing. Armed Wing is okay, but again, he's one of the weaker Blackwing synchros. Still, I think we're very likely to see Armed Wing in the box. I think he's level 5? You should see it on the screen. I think he's level 5 and he just deals piercing and gets a bit of an attack boost when he attacks a defense position monster. Not a big deal at all. Next up, Blackwing Armor Master. In my opinion, this guy is the real ace of the Blackwing deck. He can't be destroyed in battle. You take no damage from battles involving this card. That isn't all though. After battling a monster, Armor Master places a wedge counter on any monster that he fails to destroy. So, for example, let's say you attack a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Even though Armor Master is weaker than Blue Eyes, you don't take damage, Armor Master isn't destroyed, and you place a counter on that Blue Eyes. On your next turn, you can remove all wedge counters from the field, and any monster which had a wedge counter removed will have their attack and defense dropped to 0. Simply put, Armor Master can get over almost anything if he's given enough time, and the only way you're really getting Armor Master off the field if you're up against a Blackwing player is destroying it with an effect. Alright, Assault Blackwings. These are like a sub-archetype of Blackwing synchro monsters. They're not all synchro monsters, there are a couple main deck ones, but in my opinion they're not really worth using. But first up is Sohaya the Rainstorm. So all the Assault Blackwings have this similar effect, where if you synchro summon any Assault Blackwing using a Blackwing as material, the synchro monster will also be treated as a tuner. That might be a bit confusing, but for example, Sohaya is level 5. If you synchro summon him using Blackwings, then Sohaya becomes a level 5 tuner on the field. It's not that useful unless you're specifically going for Assault Blackwing Onimaru the Divine Thunder, but I also think Onimaru is not going to be coming to the game anytime soon, so you don't have to worry about that. When Sohaya is summoned, he allows you to special summon another Assault Blackwing from the graveyard. But because most of them are higher level synchro monsters, his effect is like super situational. Sohaya isn't necessary for the deck at all, and if he's added, he probably won't be played, because Blackwings can also just play Goyo Chaser. It's a better level 5. It doesn't have as good stat line, but its utility is just much better than Sohaya's. Unless you are building around Onimaru the Divine Thunder, but like I said, the chances of us getting that card are slim to 0. Next up, Raikiri the Rain Shower. I went back and forth on this one quite a bit, because I wasn't sure if Raikiri would be completely broken in Duel Links. But then I remembered that Duel Links is only 3 monster card zones, so that is actually a huge nerf to Raikiri's effect. When Raikiri is summoned, he can target cards that your opponent controls up to the number of Blackwings on your field, other than Raikiri, and destroy them. So in the TCG, you can destroy up to 4 cards when Raikiri is summoned, and that's not restricted on like monsters or spells and traps. Just target up to 4 cards and destroy them, depending on how many Blackwings you have out. However, in Duel Links, he's going to require at least 2 material to summon, so you're almost always only going to be able to pop 1 card when Raikiri is summoned. Raikiri isn't actually broken in Duel Links. Instead, he's like perfectly balanced to be like a great level 7 synchro for Blackwings. And it's really surprising because like the deck has like board wipe cards and stuff like that, but it doesn't have like spot removal other than Raikiri that I can think of. So I think Raikiri would be a fantastic card to have in the box, but again, maybe Konami thinks that Raikiri is too powerful. Maybe they haven't done their math. 3 zones is less than 5, you know, all that. Alright, Assault Blackwing, Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. This one would be a bit broken for Duel Links, but it's also a little situational, so I could see Chidori being a UR maybe? Again, level 7 synchro, but he is an offensive powerhouse. He's one of those cards that gets stronger and stronger the more cards are in the graveyard. Specifically, he gets 300 attack for each Blackwing in your graveyard. Since he needs 2 materials, he will almost always hit the field at 3200 attack, and he just gets stronger from there. Now, his second effect is that when he's destroyed, he can replace himself by special summoning another Blackwing Synchro from the graveyard. That's a bit situational, but it's super, super good when you pull it off. I think he's probably a bit too powerful, but if Konami wants to push Blackwings hard, Chidori is like just a super powerful level 7 synchro. Okay, Blackwing Graham the Shining Star. Graham is one of the more practical Blackwing synchros, but he's completely unnecessary because of how the archetype works. He functions like X-Saber Wayne, but for Blackwings. But here's the thing, because it's Blackwing Graham the Shining Star, he's got Blackwing in his name, so most of your other main deck Blackwings will be able to special summon when Graham is already on the field, making his effect pretty much obsolete. We could get Graham, but he probably wouldn't be played at all, just because he's taking up an extra deck slot that can be used for anything else. Alright, so last one. This one I didn't need to include, but I thought it would be fun to talk about one of the more broken cards in Blackwings, and to be fair, it is one of the more recent cards, but I love this card. It is fantastic and hilariously broken in several ways. So I wanted to kind of show how broken Blackwings could be if Konami just gave up on the game and said, here's Blackwing Full Armor Master, we're just gonna break the game, Blackwing's Tier 0 forever. So, he's unaffected by other card effects. That's already pretty broken for Duel Links right now. Next, he can place a wedge counter on an opponent's monster anytime it activates an effect. Finally, he can activate 2 different effects with those wedge counters. First, once per turn you can target an opponent's monster with a wedge counter and take control of it. Yes, Blackwings have a better version of Goyo Guardian. Second, during your end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field with a wedge counter. So, Raigeki. Again, perfectly balanced. But that's not exactly all. Remember the wedge counters from Blackwing Armor Master? Those count as the same ones for Full Armor Master. Meaning if you have both on the field, you can just constantly pop wedge counter shenanigans, and like you're wiping the field every turn, you're dropping monsters attack to 0, you're stealing your monsters with full Armor Master's effect. It's just devastating. And the cherry on top of that is full Armor Master can't be destroyed by card effects, only by battle. Armor Master can't be destroyed by battle, only by card effects. So they kind of cover each other in like a really neat way. Full Armor Master is supposed to be an upgraded version, but they actually have this like really good teamwork synergy that like you don't see in a lot of archetypes, where they have like kind of 2 boss monsters that have like really good teamwork. Alrighty, so that is all the main deck and synchro Blackwings I could think of that would make it into the game relatively well. There were still a couple broken ones like Armor Master, and there were a couple I left out like No Thumb and Kalute. Those cards are too powerful for Duel Links right now and probably for a while to come, so I would be very surprised if we got No Thumb or Kalute in the box. I don't think No Thumb would make Blackwings tier 0. It would make them annoying, but Kalute would make them annoying and tier 0. And that's coming from someone who loves Blackwings. So that's all. We can probably expect a data mine when the Trudge event goes away. So on the 7th, 8th, depending on your time zone, that update will probably have data of some sort that'll be mined by someone. Keep an eye on the Duel Links Reddit. Brad as usually covers stuff like this really quickly. So keep an eye on his channel, keep an eye on the Reddit. I'm probably not going to make a video on it. Maybe I might, but yeah. That's all I got to talk about Blackwings. God, I hope the next box is Blackwings. Please don't let it be Ancient Fairy Dragon. I have so many gems saved for something useful. Ugh. Anyway, that's all for now. This video is already way too long. So, thanks for watching. If you got any suggestions or anything, put them down in the comments below. If you think I'm wrong about any cards, let me know. If you think Kalute at 3 is perfectly balanced, let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Duel Links video.